Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna. Today I'm going to share with you a card that I made for my niece who is making her confirmation tomorrow. And this is the card that I made for her. And it's using the Returning Stamp Set Inspired Events, which is a beautiful stamp set. It has all kinds of beautiful events: christening, baptism, confirmation, first communion, and this beautiful stamp that says blessing. And you can use it for an invitation because here it says join us to celebrate, or please join us for the, and pick one of these, of our son, of our daughter. It's just got so many beautiful images on it, and two-step flowers here in this nice corner piece. It's just a beautiful, beautiful set. So this is the card that I made, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, let's get started. And for supplies, what I'm using is thick Whisper White, and it's cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, just for as a regular A2. Then I have another piece of Whisper White, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I have a piece of Cherry Cobbler, which is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8, and a piece of the Returning Poppy Parade, which is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. For stamp sets, again, I'm going to be using the Inspired Events stamp set, and it is a confirmation, so I'm using the confirmation stamp, and I'm using this dove, and I'm going to use this beautiful trellis here, and on the inside I am going to use this congratulations. I'm going to use the tufted embossing folder. This is new. It's a dynamic folder. I just love that. And for inks, I'm using Poppy Parade, Versamark. I have white embossing powder, and I have some of this Whisper White organza ribbon. So let's get started. I'm going in my Poppy Parade, and I'm definitely going to be sure to use my embossing buddy. I know I always forget to use that. Now what I've done on my large block, I have already pre-mounted everything, because it did take me a little bit of time to figure out. I didn't want too much red showing, so it took me a while to figure out exactly how I was going to cut my paper. So after moving things around a little bit, that's how I came up with my measurements. So I'm going to bring my Versamark ink to my stamp, because I want to make sure I get a good nice inking on that. I'm going to make sure all of my embossing comes out beautifully, because it is white embossing powder on a dark rich color, so I want to make sure that there are no snafus and that everything looks perfect. So I'm going to center this onto my paper, knowing that I designed it so those two white lines would be right about at the bottom, and that bird was going to be right up at the top. So I'm going to really press down really good without pressing too much, because then you'll have your outlines around your stamps. So I think I have some good coverage there. I'm going to peel this back. That looks great. I'm going to bring in a piece of my scrap paper, and I'm just going to sprinkle my white embossing powder, being careful not to touch any of the inked up portion of the card. And I'm going to tap, tap, tap. Looks good. Bring in my paintbrush to see if I have to fix anything. And I can see just a little bit there with my paintbrush. I'm going to just move that off. One more time, give it a good flick. I think, oops, just one more tiny bit right here. I love embossing, but it is trying when you're using such a large piece of, you're embossing such a large piece of cardstock. There is so much opportunity to get strays. So I'm going to leave that aside. Put that aside. And I do see one place I have to go back in with my paintbrush. I want to make sure I put all my powder away before I ended up making a mess. I'm just going to try to fix my dove right there. And I do have a very thin paintbrush here. I think I want a thinner one. Okay. All right, I think that's good. So now I'm going to heat emboss that. And once this gets started, it's going to go real fast. But I'm going to get a little bit started and then I'll do it off camera so that you don't have to just watch this get embossed. And the white is just so beautiful. And here it comes. Okay, I'm going to go off camera, finish embossing this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with all of my embossing. And I do see I had a couple mishaps. I have a couple little strays there and my embossing tool hit my paper right here. But rather than do it over, I am going to just use those little mishaps as a good reason to do some embellishing. So now I'm just going to start to assemble my card. I'm going to take the poppy and with some snail, I'm going to attach it to the cherry cobbler. And it is just a tiny border. I just wanted to have a little bit of a border there. It's my ribbon. And I was going to put a ribbon on this anyway, so what I'm going to do now to try to cover that up is I'm going to make a bow on this side of my card. I'm going to hold this down with a little bit of snail. And I'm going to make a bow over here so that my tails will cover that up, hopefully. I'm going to need a little more longer than that. I always tell the ladies that come to classes, never any mistakes. It's always just a nice reason to have to use some of those pretty embellishments we all have, right? So I'm going to make a bow right here. And I do need to have my nails done, so I'm hoping that this bow is going to come out right with my long nails. Okay, there's my bow. And I'm going to adjust that so that one of my tails is right over that missing piece of embossing powder right there. See that? And you'll never know that. I'm not going to cut this ribbon yet. I'm going to wait until my whole card is assembled. So now I'm going to take my piece of Whisper White that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I'm going to go run that through the Big Shot using this tufted dynamic embossing folder. I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I've embossed this and it is beautiful. I just love that. And what I'm going to do is just place this here just to have a little bit of dimension on my card, because I didn't want it to be stark white back there. So I'm going to use some snail. I'm going to attach that, center it, and attach it on this. And now I'm going to attach this. And I think I'm going to use some dimensionals to make it stand up a little bit. I probably should have done that up on dimensionals, but that's okay. I'll put one on in each corner, as well as in the center of each side so that it doesn't sink in. And I do want this to be nice and sturdy when it's in there. One more right there. Okay. And I'm going to just place that right in the center there. Now, I don't know if it shows up online on the camera, but that's just a very subtle background there. So for my little snafu there, I'm going to bring out some pearls. And I'm just going to add some in the corner. I have this sheet that's already opened. So let's see. I can't cover the whole thing. The whole. Oh, maybe I'll use a larger one and I will be able to. I'll put one there. One there. And one there. Oh, I don't like those there. I'm going to go longwise. Nope, don't like those there either. All right, I'm going to put them up along the top. All right, there we go. And now that I think my bottom half, my card is ready, I'm going to put a glue dot right underneath here to keep my bow in place. And now I'm going to cut my tails. Okay, so now the outside of my card is done. And all I have to do is with the poppy, because I want it to match my paper, I'm going to stamp on the inside with congratulations. Right in the center, straight down, straight up. Perfect. And there is my niece's beautiful confirmation card. And I know she's going to love this. Like I said, she used to scrapbook with me when she was just a little girl. Now she's driving, she's working, she's getting ready to think about what she's doing after high school. Time flies. So there is the card. If you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products that I've used, please contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you back here later.